Hello and welcome to Business 360. I'm Ashmit Kumar and here are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. A sell-off in the last hour wipes out early gains for sensex and the nifty. Mid-caps and small caps underperform with sharper cuts. Rupee weakens sharply against the US dollar. India and US are discussing ways to reduce tariffs, say Indian government sources. This after President Trump claims that India has agreed to cut tariffs way down. Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal was in Washington last week. Sources hint at potential tariff cuts similar to bilateral trade agreements with Australia, UAE and others. India and European Union begin a 10th round of negotiations in Brussels to seal a free trade agreement and another agreement to protect investments. Both parties look to hedge their risks with a trade deal amidst tariff threats coming in from the US. The Indian government invites applications for the post of chairman at insurance regulator IRDAI. Current chairman Debashish Panda's 3-year term ends on the 13th of March. Sources say Economic Affairs Secretary Ajit Seth and former Defence Secretary Giridhar Aramaname could be among the possible contenders. Stormy start to the second leg of the budget session. Congress and the TMC seek a discussion on alleged manipulation of electoral rolls. DMK MPs protest after Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan calls the Tamil Nadu government dishonest, uncivilized and undemocratic for doing a U-turn on the agreement on PM Shri schools. Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar tables the state's budget, allocates 36,000 crores towards Ladki Bahi scheme for FY26. This is 10,000 crore rupees lesser than the allocation last time. Pawar says that the government will announce an industrial policy with an aim to attract investments worth 40 lakh crore rupees and create 50 lakh new jobs in 5 years. Former Central Bank Governor of Canada, Carney, wins the leadership race of the Liberal Party to replace Justin Trudeau as Prime Minister. Carney is likely to call for a general elections as soon as Trump's tariff threats put the Liberals in pole position to win the polls. Well, let's start with a quick check on the stock markets. The Sensex and the Nifty failed to hold on to early gains. A sell-off in the last hour of trade took the Nifty below the 22,500 mark. The Sensex, meanwhile, lost over 200 points. The mid-caps and the small-caps saw sharper cuts. The mid-cap index was down 750 points and the small-cap index was down nearly 2%. The rupee also weakened sharply against the US dollar. The Indian currency was down by more than 45 paise against the greenback. Bond prices, meanwhile, managed to hold largely steady. Well, the big story that we are tracking this evening, India and the United States are discussing ways to reduce tariffs, according to the Indian government sources. This comes a day after President Trump claimed that India has agreed to cut tariffs way down. Trump's top economic officials reiterated that reciprocal tariffs on nations like India will kick in from the 2nd of April. Here is President Trump and his top economic lieutenant on India and the tariff threat.
India charges us massive tariffs, massive. You can't even sell anything into India. It's almost restrictive. It is restrictive. You know, we do very little business inside. They've agreed, by the way, they want to cut their tariffs way down now because somebody's finally exposing them for what they've done.
Now, April 2nd is when we begin our reciprocal tariffs. So if you think about it, what he said was, okay, between now and April 2nd, I'm just going to give USMCA, I'm going to set that aside from these tariffs, but just for this month. And then on April 2nd, it's not that this reprieve starts, it's that on April 2nd, the reciprocal tariffs start. How you treat us is how we expect to treat you.
At the end of the day, President Trump's been saying tariff is his favorite word. I think reciprocal may be his second favorite word. And we're going to put this at the feet of our trading partners on April 2nd. We're going to come out, talk about who's a good actor, who's a bad actor, to what degree they have put up barriers against us, and it'll be a choice. Either they can drop all the market manipulation and things like that they've done that have hurt American workers. And if they do that, then we could have more frictionless trade, or we'll put up the tariff wall, we'll collect a lot of money, and we will make the system fairer.
Well, Parikshit Luthra is standing by with more details on this ongoing negotiations between the India and the US. Parikshit, tell us, what are your sources telling you?
Well, trade negotiations are complex, and this one with the United States is no different. Well, Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal was in talks with USTR Jamieson Greer and US Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick last week. He was there for about 3 days, and he had a round of conversation with each of them. Clearly, the Indian government has put forth to the US sensitivities on different subjects, including agriculture and dairy for that matter, and also what India can do. Sources tell us that India and the US were also close to finalizing a mini trade deal towards the end of the Trump administration, and for some reason, it did not happen. Currently, yes, India is considering reducing the average applied tariff across product lines for the United States, just the way India has done it for countries like UAE, Australia and Norway in the past. Sources tell us that current negotiations with the US should be seen in the context of what India has done with other FTA nations in the past. And currently, this is a bilateral trade agreement that is being negotiated. US is, of course, asking for preferential treatment, saying that we don't care what you're offering to the rest of the world. You treat us like a special partner. This has to be a special relationship, and we can't go product by product. It has to be a broad-based, macro-level deal that brings down tariffs altogether. So it could be 0 to 0 tariffs that the US is asking, or for bringing down the average applied tariffs to a rate that US charges on Indian products. Let's see which way those negotiations go. But there are domestic pressures for India as well from the industry and also from the Swadeshi Jagran Manch, which is an RSS affiliate, which has gone on to say that we must follow the nation-first approach in these negotiations. It's good to have bilateral trade agreements, and they're preferable over multilateral agreements. But at the same time, interests of small farmers and entrepreneurs must be respected, and they must not lose out in this trade agreement with the United States.
Right, Parikshit, thanks a lot for that. Interesting that this commentary coming in from the US at a time that Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal was in the US. A special relationship is what the US is pitching this transaction, this deal between the two countries as. But staying with the US President Donald Trump hosted cryptocurrency leaders at the White House over the weekend. The first of its kind White House Crypto Summit saw President Trump signing an executive order establishing a strategic Bitcoin reserve and a US digital asset stockpile. Trump reiterated that he's working to make America the crypto capital of the world. However, Bitcoin and Ethereum prices fell over 5% owing to the lack of policy-specific announcements.
And last year, I promised to make America the Bitcoin superpower of the world and the crypto capital of the planet, and we're taking historic action to deliver on that promise, as you know, around the table. I also want to express my strong support for the efforts of lawmakers in Congress as they work on bills to provide regulatory certainty for dollar-backed stablecoins and the digital assets market. They're working very hard on that.
Well, India and the European Union commenced their 10th round of negotiations for a free trade agreement in Brussels today. These talks come weeks after EU President Ursula von der Leyen and a full college of commissioners visited India for detailed conversations. Remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said that the trade deal is expected to be completed by the end of this year. Abhimanyu Sharma, my colleague, joins us now with more details. Abhimanyu, tell us, what are you picking up?
India and the European Union have begun the 10th round of discussions for a potential free trade agreement between both the sides. In the 9th round, several issues pertaining to goods, services, rules of origin, technical barriers to trade and government procurement were discussed. Now, both the sides are looking to hedge their risks in a world replete with discourse and action on tariffs. And both the countries are big importers of energy. So clearly, there would be concerns on both the sides as far as securing their trade interest is concerned. Also, in a visit to Delhi last month, European Commission's president had indicated that both the sides are looking to conclude the FTA within 2025 itself. Now, this round of talks is slated to go on till the 14th of March, in which both the sides are expected to give their suggestions and are going to negotiate on several counts. India is seeking better competitiveness for its exports of electrical machinery, steel and ready-made garments, whereas the European Union is seeking better market access and lower duties on spirits, wines, automobiles, and also a stronger IPR regime. It remains to be seen how early the negotiations are going to be concluded and what are the concessions which both the sides are going to give to each other.
Right, Abhimanyu, thanks a lot for that. Now, the Finance Ministry has said that the Reserve Bank has been monitoring activities and the performance of the microfinance sector. In a response to the Parliament, Minister of State for Finance Pankaj Chaudhary said that the sector was showing signs of stress in the current fiscal year and that the RBI has asked the lenders to strengthen their underwriting standards and step up efforts. The minister also said that the government is not considering relief for the MFI sector at this moment, despite the rise in bad loans. Now, the government plans to finalize the share purchase agreement for the privatization of IDBI Bank this month. Speaking to CNBC Awaaz, DPAM Secretary Arunish Chawla said that the divestment process is on track and an update on the stake sale will be available in the next 3 to 4 months.
मैं बहुत स्पेसिफिक तारीख आपको नहीं दे सकता हूं, लेकिन इतना आश्वासन दे सकता हूं कि आईडीबीआई बैंक का डिसइन्वेस्टमेंट ट्रैक पर है, ड्यू डिलिजेंस कर ली गई है, जो भी डेटा इश्यूज थे उनको रिजॉल्व कर लिया गया है और उसके आगे की कार्रवाई जारी है. आप अगले 3-4 महीने में कुछ ना कुछ खबर अवश्य देखें.
Meanwhile, Vodafone Idea shares fell after it failed to receive relief from the government regarding a 6,000 crore rupee bank guarantee that is due today. Sources have told CNBC Awaaz that the telecom company will now have to deposit the amount of 6,000 crore rupees by the end of today. The telecom department had sought this bank guarantee from Vodafone Idea for spectrum that the company had acquired post-2015. And ratings agency Fitch has cut its outlook on Adani Energy but affirmed the rating at BBB-, which is one level above a junk rating. Fitch has removed Adani from a rating watch negative and has assigned a negative outlook. Fitch believes proceedings and outcome of the US investigations could reveal that the group's corporate governance practices are weaker than we expected. Adani Group is facing allegations of bribery and investigations from the US Justice Department as well as the SEC. And the National Company Law Tribunal has directed Jayaprakash Associates to continue its insolvency proceedings under a single window plan. The court has rejected the previous option that allowed bids for individual business clusters. This was in response to a plea challenging the dual option approach adopted by the resolution professional. The deadline for submitting expression of interests ends tomorrow. Remember, JP Associates is facing claims worth nearly 60,000 crore rupees from a consortium of lenders led by SBI. Now, the Indian government has invited applications for the role of the IRDAI chairperson. Current chairperson Debashish Panda's 3-year term ends on the 13th of March. Yash Jain is joining us now with more details. Yash.
Well, finally, the government has invited applications for the position of the next IRDAI chairperson. It is, of course, appeared in some of the newspapers today. And as far as the last date for filing applications is concerned, that would be April 6, 2025. Now, what makes this date very interesting is that, it's much ahead of the date that the current chairman would have as his last day in the office. The last date for the current IRDAI chairperson, Debashish Panda, is March 13, 2025. But the last date for submitting applications for the next IRDAI chairman, as I said, is April 6th. Very conservatively, the process would at least take about a month when it comes to appointment of the next IRDAI chairman. And in all possibility, as per our sources, the senior most member at the insurance regulatory body, that is PK Arora, who's the member actually would handle the position of IRDAI chairman in the meantime till the permanent chairman really takes over that particular position. Apart from PK Arora, what we've been given to understand is that there are certain contenders who are in the race for the next IRDAI chairman. This includes the first name being Giridhar Aramane, who is the former defense secretary. He's likely to be in the race for the next IRDAI chairman. Ajay Seth, the current economic affairs secretary, he is also likely to be in the race when it comes to the next IRDAI chairman. But just a quick look at the 3 years of the current IRDAI chairman. It's been quite eventful. Started with the regulations on and the transition to use and file from file and use, allowing insurance companies to straight away launch a new product in the market and then apply and wait for the approval for that product from the regulator subsequently. Other one was, of course, putting limits on expenses of management for insurance companies and giving these insurers the freedom on commission payouts. Also, easing of private equity investments in the insurance sector, removing the condition condition of forming an SPV or a special purpose vehicle to do that. Highest surrender value for policyholders, very recent one from the regulator, but indeed a very, very large one. 100% FDI in the insurance sector. The chairperson, the current chairperson, batted that very strongly with the government, and it indeed came through.
Right, Yash, thanks so much for that. Now, shares of Gensol Engineering fell for the 10th straight session on the back of a stake sale by promoters. The company's promoters sold nearly 2.37% of their total equity, days after saying that they will buy shares from the open market to gain consumer confidence. After the latest stake sale, the promoters continue to hold 59.7% stake. The company is also planning to raise funds through a QIP and consider a stock split during a board meeting on March 13th. Gensol's shares have fallen by 47% in 10 sessions amidst allegations of falsification of loan repayment documents. Now, a New York-bound Air India flight has returned to Mumbai after a bomb threat. Airline officials said that the flight returned to the airport after a bomb threat note was found inside its toilet mid-air. The flight was carrying more than 320 passengers and is currently going under mandatory security checks. And with that, it's time now for slipping into a very short break. But coming up, a stormy start to the second leg of the budget session. Congress and the TMC seek a discussion on the alleged manipulation of electoral rolls. More on that when we come back. Now, the second leg of Parliament's budget session kicked off on a chaotic note. Opposition parties staged a walkout from Rajya Sabha over the delimitation issue and the new education policy. DMK members protested in the Lok Sabha over Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan's remarks against Tamil Nadu. Shivani Bazaz is joining us now with a quick wrap of the parliamentary action. Shivani.
Well, yes, a stormy start to the second phase of the budget session today as political tensions ran high inside both houses of the parliament. The biggest flashpoint, leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi demanded a discussion on the accuracy of voter list after multiple parties, including the Trinamool Congress, raised concerns about alleged discrepancies in electoral rolls. TMC MP Saugata Roy claimed that identical voter ID numbers were found in different constituencies, triggering calls for clarification from the Election Commission. Now, the day also saw a major showdown between DMK and BJP. Lok Sabha proceedings had to be adjourned for nearly 30 minutes after DMK MPs stormed the well of the House, protesting against Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan's remarks. Pradhan accused the Tamil Nadu government of being dishonest and ruining students' future by refusing to implement the PM Shri scheme aimed at upgrading schools. He also said that several non-BJP ruled states like Karnataka and Himachal Pradesh have already signed up, but Tamil Nadu has made a U-turn. Amidst this chaos, Railway Minister Ashwini Vaishnav also moved the Railway Amendment Bill 2024 for the consideration of Rajya Sabha. The bill aims to streamline railway operations, enhance passenger services and push for faster infrastructure development. It will now be taken up for detailed discussion in the coming days.
Because sir, आपने सही बात बोली कि वोटर लिस्ट क्या सरकार बनाती है.
मैंने नहीं बोला.
नहीं, आपने बोला क्या, और आपने सही बोला कि सरकार वोटर लिस्ट नहीं बनाती है. मगर पूरे देश में वोटर लिस्ट पर सवाल उठ रहे हैं. हर स्टेट में, हर ऑपोजिशन के स्टेट में और महाराष्ट्र में ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट वोटर लिस्ट पे सवाल उठे हैं. तो पूरा ऑपोजिशन मिलकर सिर्फ ये बोलने दीजिए, पूरा ऑपोजिशन सिर्फ मिलकर ये कह रहा है कि वोटर लिस्ट पे यहां पे एक डिस्कशन हो जाए. ओके. आप बनाते नहीं हो, इसको हम एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं, आप डिस्कशन तो कीजिए.
Tamil Nadu government has ready to sign an MOU with Government of India for accepting PM Shri. Few of my members, few of my MP colleagues came to see me. They came to the honorable member who raised the question. She also came to see me with Honorable Education Minister of Tamil Nadu. They agreed. They went back. They have a U-turn. Many more speakers are many more non-BJP states, especially Congress, Karnataka, Let me give the example. Karnataka is accepting the NEP and they have some reservation verbally on NEP, but they are implementing PMC in Himachal. They are dishonest, my dear friends. They are dishonest. They are not committed to Tamil Nadu students. They are ruining the future of Tamil Nadu students.
We had clearly said that we have issues with the NEP. We cannot accept it in full because three-language policy is not acceptable to Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
And, sir, the truth is, the CM of Tamil Nadu has written to the minister and the Prime Minister saying that we have issues with the NEP, it cannot be accepted in total and the funds have to be released, and he's requested the funds to be released. So Tamil Nadu or the Tamil MPs from Tamil Nadu have never accepted freelance.
Well, Maharashtra Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar tabled the state's budget today. This is the first budget after the Mahayuti's landslide election victory. Santya Gora joining us now with the details. Santya, take us through the key highlights of this first budget since the electoral win.
Right, Ashmit. So let's start with the most important highlight from the budget. So this time, Maharashtra government was under the scanner for all the spending it has made on various welfare schemes. It was expected that the fiscal deficit will cross the 3% limit of the overall GSDP, but the state government claims that that did not happen. The budget for the year 2025-2026 is 7 lakh crore rupees, and the fiscal deficit is 1.36 lakh crore. That's what the state government says. That's what the finance minister said while tabling the budget. This was his 11th budget. Now, other than this, an important announcement is that the state government will impose tax on EVs worth over 30 lakh rupees. Now, why exactly this step has been taken and won't it discourage the usage of EVs? Those answers, those questions are yet to be answered by the finance minister and the CM of the state. But other than this, one important aspect which everybody was looking out for was the Ladki Bahin scheme payout. Now, after this was the flagship scheme of the Mahayuti government, which was responsible in a very large, very significant manner to bring the government back to the power, to bring this alliance back to the power. So they promised after the elections, after the victory, that the payout for the scheme will increase from 1,500 rupees to 2,100 rupees every month. So it was expected that this budget will see an announcement on these lines, but that did not happen. In fact, the budget estimate for the scheme, which was 46,000 crore rupees last year, from July onwards till the end of this financial year, that has now been reduced to 36,000 crore rupees, which will, because if we compare it to the 46,000 crore rupees, that was only for 9 months. So that is another important change which was made in terms of outlays. Other than that, the CM and the deputy CMs, while addressing the press conference, they claimed that as of now, the monthly stipend for under the scheme won't be increased to 2,100 rupees per month, because they have to balance the financial aspects of the state exchequer as well. But the state government and the CM and both the DCMs claimed that the fiscal deficit remains under 3% of the overall GSDP as per the norms. Ashmit.
Right, Santya, thanks so much for that comprehensive wrap of what to take away from the Maharashtra budget. But that's unfortunately all the time that we have. It's a wrap on this edition of Business 360. More news and updates will continue right here on CNBC-TV18.